Well, hello there. Today we are doing the second week of the GeoFrauds. Last week we didn't do great. We finished 17th out of 21 people. That's not the worst, but it's also not great. But we have Phineas in the lead at the moment, and hopefully we can do better in this week's leg, which is Arbitrary World. So let's just jump straight into it and just have fun and see how well or see how bad it goes. Fingers crossed. Okay. So it's an asymmetrical pole. It's definitely not Java, so it's either going to be Sumatra or Cali. No, Cali has to be this side. And Sumatra, I don't really know the difference, sadly. Palms, I don't know. I fancy more Kalimantan. And if I'm going to go Kalimantan, I'll probably have to go east because it's in between. And it looks like we're in a developed area, so I'm happy to go the main city. Could go wrong. Could go very well. It really depends if it is Kalimantan or not, but let's just see. Oh, nice. It was Kalimantan, but it was actually in the north. And Party actually got it, so fair play to Party. Very good guess by him. Damn, that is a very good guess. Okay, second round. This is tricky. This time I'm thinking Cali or Sumatra again. I think it's quite hilly out the way. I'm thinking more Sumatra. Maybe like a West Sumatra or North Sumatra. It is really out the way though, so it might go wrong. I am fancying West, but I don't know where to go in the West. That's the only issue. Maybe like here, or outskirts Padang maybe. I don't know, Jeff. I'll probably just go up here just in case, but let's just see. Please be right. It was Lampung. Ah, I didn't expect it to be that hilly, but I'm happy I got the island correct. And Party did a classic water hedge. But we are third at the moment, so we're doing okay so far. Right, let's have a look. It's Indonesia again. We've had like 3 Indonesias. Jesus Christ. Okay. So where's Indonesia is this? I don't think it's Sulawesi, but we got this roof though. It's a bit weird, but it's not like the west or north Sumatra roof. I think it's the west Sumatra roof. I might be wrong. Though, sadly. Can I find a railway? There's a railway. I might just go Pradag. I don't really know what's going on here. Hopefully it's not North Sumatra, because that's my only worry, to be honest. Nice, it was just Padang. That's pretty good. Still third though. I'm actually doing pretty well this seed. It was just one Indonesia. The Indonesia rounds have been acceptable for me. Like no wrong islands and stuff like that. And now I've got Brazil, and this is not great. We've got a very big poll. Looks like recent coverage. It feels to me more southern. Like I'm thinking more Rio Grande do Sul, or maybe Cantarina, but I'm thinking more Rio Grande. Not Rio Grande, sorry. Yeah, Rio Grande do Sul. I'm thinking RGDS, I mean. Um, little hits of hills. There's some piranha trees in the distance. There is, so that makes me more confident to go more north. Like maybe here is a main road. It looks like, so maybe like there. I do not know, Jeff. Let's see. Nice. That's actually a pretty good hedge, and it was actually was it just piranha? Oh, that would be horrific for a province streak. Our State Street, Jesus Christ. That's pretty good. We are currently still third, but we're very close to the second and first. But we need to make sure we don't mess this round up. Don't tell us it's Indonesia again. It's Indonesia again, dudes. What's going on? Or is it Thailand? I can't. It might be Thailand, actually. Yeah, it's Thailand, okay. Big, massive highway north to south. Something like, is the 117 a quadruple highway? Kind of. What about north of Bangkok? I mean, it's kind of. I think it's along this certain road. Um, More like southwest. I'll just go here. Not bad. It was the correct road, I think. The 25 or 30, or 32. What was I on the 32? Yeah, so that is actually pretty good. So we actually finished really well. I think Party had an amazing game though, so fair play to Party. He managed to get North Cali in the first round, so fair play. But yeah, finished third, not too bad. At the moment, there's only 5 people who've played, so we can't really judge ourselves on how we've done. But Trabota is really good at Asia, and the majority of rounds are in Asia, so I think we should expect a good score this week.
Well, hello there, and today we're going to look at our results, see how we've done in this week's GeoFrauds. And we actually finished third, which is really nice, so we did very well this week. Seb and Party did well, and congrats to Party for winning this week with a very impressive round one guess. Then we had Rust, Phineas, Macam, Brad, DJ, Trickter, and Blue in the top 10. I can't speak today. We can see that we have Phineas in the lead with 35, followed by Seb, Macam, DJ, and Part in the top 5. And if we want to guarantee 4 completes next season, we need to get in the top 6. So we're 7 points behind Rust, who's in 6th. We are joint 7th, actually, with Cephalin. And then we have Armani and Brad in the top 10. So yeah, interesting to start off with. And it's only going to get more unpredictable as the season carries on. Okay, so let's move on to Division 2's results. So this was no moving on Arbitrary Europe. And Joey actually got the victory, so well done, Joey, for getting the win. Very decent score, and Clemu was not far away, and neither was Desai, Lunacy, and Yertle in the top 5. And then we have R1, Poo Poo, Simon, Cookie, and Shax in the top 10. So well done for getting the top 10. If we go to the standings, we can see Joey is in the lead with 30 points, 3 points clear. But we have R1 and Desai joint second, not far behind him. Then we have Clemu, Cookie, and Lunacy in the top 6. Then Simon, Flamp, Rubiorette, and Sumi in the top 10. But yeah, that's what happened to Div 2 this week. Let's move on to Div 3's results. And if we exclude ourselves, it was Latin America, and Holes got the victory. So well done, Holes. He did very well. He had a very good guess in Puerto Arenas. I don't think anybody else got that this week, so well done for that good guess. And yeah, solid performance all round by Holes. Then we have K-pop, Hamfrags, Nathan, and Joe in the top 5. If we look around, there are a few mistakes like going Colombia and Bolivia, or Mexico and Bolivia. And then we had everyone much further north in Chile. If we go to the standings, we can see Holes is 4 points clear. Then we have K-pop in second, Nathan in third, and then Aardvark and Ryan joint fourth. And then Joe, Hamfrags, Guri, Cam, Anku, and Camphor cover the rest of the positions. And yeah, let's move on to the 4th division and see how that went. It was Arbitrary Europe. And Potato won 12k, so it seems like there was a bit of a struggle with this week. We had Latvia and Russia, which is understandable. And besides that, it's been pretty solid. I think, yeah, it's round 4 that's kind of based everyone. But then again, Cat actually managed to get Russia there, so fair play. And then we have Kaiser in 4th, Elliot in 5th. And if we look at the standings, we can see that Lodi is in the lead by 3 points. Then we have Potato in 2nd, and Elliot and Kaiser joint 3rd. Cat, Jurassic Park, Arazad, Genghis Khan, and Bradley finish off the leaderboards. Okie dokie, so now we have done all the updates on the standings from this week. We can now move on to the review for each division's rounds. Rightio, so we're starting off with round 1, which was Indonesia. So we have the Indonesia pole top. The other clues here, we don't have any Java roofs, so there's no point risking Java here. But you've got more of these metal roofs, you've got pale sand, which is quite common for Kalimantan, especially the east side. And if you go in Kalimantan with asymmetrical poles, you should go on the east. And then it was purely down to like region, which, region it was. And it ended up being North Kalimantan. I went East Kalimantan. And yeah, Party nailed it and fair play to him. But yeah, quite a tough round to start off with. But we got another Indonesia, I feel, that was even harder. So this round, I have no information to go off. So if anybody in the comments has any clues to confirm this is at least Sumatra or Lampung, then feel free to share. Okay, so for this round, we had loads of palms again. So usually with this environment with no tiled roofs, or not many tiled roofs, I would go Sumatra or maybe just not Java here. We have a black car again, which is very common for West Sumatra and Kalimantan and Sulawesi. But the main clue we have here is we have this West Sula kind of like styled like roof. And this helped me and quite a few people narrow it down to that West Sumatra region or province. Apologies, I've muddled the terminology right there. Oh my god, I can't speak today. Like, if I've muddled up the terminology wrong, that didn't make sense either. Anyways, so yeah, this room is unique for West Sumatra. That's how we got it. Round 4, Brazilian pole. I think some people got confused with the road lines, and apparently, according to Amon, he has seen some Brazilian poles in Chile before, but in very, very, very rare circumstances. But we've got piranha trees as well in the distance, which help me confirm whether we're in Catarina, Parana, Rio Grande do Sul. I was considering all those. And yeah, the road lines are weird, but it is quite concrete. It's polyabated, but if you lose the other clues around you, it's hinting Brazil for sure. On to the 5th round, we had Thai poles. So you see these dots ever so faintly working all the way to the top of the pole. It's also generation 4 for Asia. And we're driving on the left-hand side. And with these poles, you could easily get bit by Indonesia, but the most important thing is to see the dots on the poles. And yeah, for region guessing, it's a big main road, so you're probably one of those dual carriageways away, leading out for the capital, and that's what it pretty much was. So yeah, that is pretty much Division 1 sorted. Let's move on to Division 2. Right, so now we're moving on to Division 2 and looking at clues. So first of all, this round, very flat environment. We've got these type of bollards with a black cap on top with a red reflector without the black around it. You very commonly get this in Austria and Slovenia. You can get it in other places like Monte or Croatia. But with thick black caps, you should only be one of the two. And the other clue I used here was the green sign as well. I think that's more common to come across in Austria. There's no sign of any hills that much, so it's more like to be the lowlands of Austria rather than the lowlands of Slovenia with this very green environment with these cropped fields everywhere. Yeah, I'll just say vibe-wise, you can really narrow it down. I think, yeah, to me this just felt like it was more Austria than Slovenia, to be honest. Can't really say anything else about that. Sorry. Okay, let's move on to round 2, and we have these white dashes, which means we're in Slovenia. Oh, I moved. What I meant to say is if you have short dashes in the Scandinavians or the Nordics, it should be stop moving. Should be Sweden. You can get it in the Baltics, like in Estonia, but with these very tall trees, kind of remote, quite hilly. It's done it again. You should be in Sweden. So in Norway, you'll have long dashes. So those who went Norway, they will have long dashes. Always check the ones in the front, or because this, I guess, could bait you into them being long. But the best way to tell them they're short is the distance between them, but also looking further out and seeing how small they get. It may take practice to get used to, but yeah. Okay, next round. This was Serbia, so we've got not much information here. We've got some language, so if you can work out the language from that, fair enough. But we've got these what's the word, like post-Soviet polls, like you get from the former USSR regions. So like I might be wrong there. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But right, okay, this is taking the piss. This is actually taking the piss. Right. What I was trying to say is, if you see these polls that look like they should be seen in Russia, and you feel like you're more well within Europe, or you have a blue strip, it's a good hint that you're in one of the Eastern or just the Balkans. So, like for example, Romania might have them. I think they do occasionally. You have them in Serbia. You have them in North Macedonia, I believe. I might be wrong with that, but I think I've seen them in North Macedonia. But yeah, I think the main ones really is Serbia, Romania, and Bulgaria. Um, when you have the blue strip with those poles. But the more important clue is checking the car. So as we can see, there is no antenna. Serbia does sometimes have an antenna, but it's the older coverage for Serbia. But you don't have an antenna in Europe, and it's kind of more of a Balkan feel or just Central European feel. Always go either Serbia or North Macedonia. Like I say, I don't really see these poles as often in North Macedonia, or if not at all. So I would definitely lean Serbia here, and I feel like Serbia is more flat. It feels a lot more flatter and greener without hills. So like it's especially the ones towards the north, which this was. So I'm kind of waffling a bit, but the main two clues I would say is no antenna on the plate. I think we've got a hint of red on the plate, which also hints Serbia logo, but we got these poles as well, which you shouldn't see in North Macedonia. Cracker, that was a long one. Round 3. Okay, so this was interesting location, but we have language. So Polish, we've got the row number, we've got Warsaw, very pinpointable. I don't really need to talk about this round that much, just purely down to pinpointability skills. And round 5, we have a long antenna, which is more common in Slovakia over Czechia. In Czechia and Slovakia, you get these very thick circular poles quite often, especially when there's two together. And we moved again. Great. So that's not convenient, but it's very hilly. It feels like, I don't know, it feels a bit out of date. It doesn't feel as recent, but we've got these numbers. I don't know if you saw this on the actual thing because I moved, but if they're coloured in like red rather than a white background, you should be in Czechia over Slovakia, but don't always take that 100%. So this example, it confirms Slovakia. And I swear I've seen all of these type of fences in Slovakia as well, so something to keep note. And I think this was either central or eastern Slovakia as well, so that makes sense with more of like almost a little bit of Romanian kind of architecture hints here. But yeah, not really much to say. And yeah, I think that is the rounds. Right, let's talk about Division 3. So the first round we have a white go car that's not a ghost car, it's a proper white go car. So the main three countries that have white yoga in South America are Bolivia, Chile, and Peru. But we have this thick white signpost, and that is far more common in Bolivia than the other two countries. We also have this very orangish rock, which is very common for Cochabamba, or I call it Cochabamba for some reason. But yeah, that's kind of like a region guessing tip. Very common for Cochabamba to have that. But yeah, that is the main clues to use for this round. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so for this round, we have what appears to be some octagonal poles. So you may be thinking, oh, this could be Mexico, but you can sometimes get octagonal poles in Colombia as well. And we can see the yellow plate at the back of the motorbike, which confirms Colombia if you're in South America, especially on motorbikes. You can get yellow plates on other vehicles, but when you get on motorbikes, you should always go Colombia, really. But yeah, so that's the main clue. And then we've got a really dry environment, so it should be far north, Colombia, and probably towards the west coast, which it was. Okay, so for this round, I think these fences might be meta, but double yellow road lines. But we've also got a ladder pole here with the segments going across that confirm Brazil.
Very hilly environment, but I believe some of this vegetation is unique to the northeast. But yeah, can be a very baited round, so I can understand going wrong here, and I think I would have gone south here as well. So yeah, something to keep in mind. Okay, so let's move on to the next Brazilian round. We have these Brazilian fences, but we have the double yellows again, and I believe we have probably a visible Brazilian pole here. Yep, we do. It's quite hilly, kind of rolling hills. And yeah, so like I would personally go somewhere like north of Espírito Santo or in Bahia. So it's kind of like as far north as it gets, where it gets green and hilly and it starts feeling more dry. Whereas this, it doesn't feel as tropical. It feels a bit more cool compared to like other locations in Brazil. And we also have a parrot here, which is pretty poggers. But yeah, pretty straightforward rounds for guessing. Region guessing is a bit more difficult, and we can move on to the final round for Division 3, which was at not Argentina, it was Chile, and it was the most southern part of Chile, Puerto Arenas. And the main clue here, well, it's not the most southern part as Puerto Williams, but with these clues, you have to check around first, but we have no sign of any black dots. We have the Chile flag. Kind of hilly, but very flat. Cold environment with like these wooden buildings. I feel this is much more common towards the colder parts of Chile. No hills surrounding us, so probably not any of the main cities. And probably hints of coastline. So when you have a really cold feeling and it's coastline, there's no hills at all, definitely consider Puerto Arenas. Don't be afraid to go really far south Chile when you get this type of like environment, because the odds are in your favor if you don't see any hills especially. So yeah, keep that in mind. And yeah, I hope that was useful for Division 3 players. And we can move now on to Division 4. Right, so now moving on to Division 4. So first thing we have is the UK round, Ukraine round. It's hard to say, but you can see a little bit of a reddish feel to the car, but it's very hard to notice. But when you have roads that are not really in the best condition, you're much more likely to be in Ukraine. And yeah, other than that, there's not really much to use here, so it's probably a safe hedge around Kiev. And yeah, other than that, I can't really say much besides being familiar with the poor conditioned roads, being more common in Ukraine. And that's pretty much about it. On to the next round, we have a more interesting one actually. I'm trying to remember where this actually was. Was this Italy or something? Let's double check. It was Italy, yeah. So with me, what made me think Italy is really these almost like vineyard kind of things. I don't know if they are proper vineyards, but these mountains are so rocky, probably right on the Alps. So I would definitely go far north Italy here. So yeah, that's pretty much that really. To be honest, there's not really much else to add here besides the feels like we're near the Alps, and we've got these vineyards on the mountains or hillside, which are very common for like Slovenia or Italy, for example. But to me, with these houses, it feel more Italian. I don't know, these kind of valleys. I don't really associate these kind of like rocky bits with like that river going through Slovenia. I don't know. Slovenia feels a lot more closer in together. You don't really get big valleys compared to Italy, from my experience at least. Okay, so for this round, we've got this time long dashes. So previously we had short dashes. These are long dashes. So as you can tell, the dashes are longer, and yeah, they can tell they're close together, but kind of hilly, but not too hilly. So you shouldn't be traveling too far north here. But a pretty straightforward round to confirm Norway, and then it's just region guessing based off using the environment. Okay, so for this round we had, I believe, I think this wasn't Kaliningrad, was it? I think this was like just outskirts of Ukraine in Russia. And yeah, the sunflower things. I know you get a lot of sunflower kind of meta. I think these are sunflowers. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I think they are. But you do get them around Ukraine. You get them in Romania. You get them in Bulgaria. So it makes sense that they can be slightly in southern Russia as well. Not super south Russia, just like east of Ukraine. So that made sense. I probably would have gone Kaliningrad here, but I guess the sunflower meta was probably the good clue here. So I don't recall seeing sunflowers in Kaliningrad, but feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. And the final round of this video was another Norway round. So this round we had yellow dashes, which you usually think, oh, it's Canada, but obviously it's a European map. But there are some exceptions to the rule with yellow road lines in the middle, and Norway is one of them. And also the difference between Norway and Sweden bollards is they have a silver reflector, and they kind of have a black kind of surrounding the reflector as well. And it's a very different design, to be honest, but the yellow road lines should help enough. And yeah, it's purely vibe guessing again, probably a similar place to what we had before, probably a bit more north, but yeah. That is pretty much it. So thank you all for watching, and yeah, let's see what happens in the next week's GeoFrauds, and yeah, I'll see you then. Yeah, of course.